Okay, a couple special cases of lines, parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines means they are never going to intersect, and in order to have that happen, they have to have the same slant, or in other words, would be the same slope. Perpendicular lines do intersect, but they intersect in a very special way. They intersect at right angles, which are also 90-degree angles. So I've got a pair of lines drawn here, L1 and L2, and we usually, when we have them drawn and we want to indicate that they're perpendicular, we use this square box. Okay? How are their slopes related? Well, this L1 has to have a positive slope and L2 has to have a negative slope because one goes up, the other goes down. But you also notice that L1 is kind of steep compared to L2 is, goes down and it's not so steep. It turns out that slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals to one another. That means they're opposite in sign and the flip of each other. So if L1 has a slope of positive 7/4, L2 would have a slope of negative 4/7. All right, so if we are given a couple equations and we're asked to determine are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither, what are we going to do? We're going to compare their slopes. Okay, so in this case, let me get up, there we go. Very easy to compare their slopes. You solve for y, right? Get it, y equals mx plus b form. So I just have to subtract my 2. Slope for this first one is just going to be 5. Over here, a little bit more involved. We're going to have to subtract our x, and then we're going to have to divide through by 5. So we get negative 1/5 for our slope. Do you see that 1 because it was a negative 1x, and that's negative 1/5. So my slope here is negative 1/5 compared to a slope of 5. Okay, they're opposite in signs, and 5 is the same as 5/1, so yes, they are reciprocals. These would be perpendicular lines. And if you were to graph this first equation, y equals, in your calculator, and the second one in your calculator, it should look like they're perpendicular when you graph them. All right, now here's one of my all-time favorite problems. It says, write the equation of a line parallel to the graph of the line of 4y minus x equals 20 and containing the point to -3. Okay, so we want to be parallel to this line and through this point here. Well, to find the equation of a line, we're going to need the slope and at least some point. To find the slope, we're going to find the slope of the given line, and because it's parallel, we'll be able to use the same slope. Okay, so to find the slope of a line, what are we going to do? We're going to solve it for y. So add the x, divide by 4, and we get 1/4 for our slope. And that's the same slope that we want to use because we want parallel lines. If they had asked me for a perpendicular line, I wouldn't use 1/4. I would use a negative 4 because that's the reciprocal. All right, but we're going to do parallel, so it's y minus the y coordinate of -3, so y minus -3 makes it y plus 3, equals m times the quantity of x minus 2 because that's the x. Distribute your 1/4. Okay, use your calculator if you have to. 1/4 times -2 would give you a -1/2, and then add over a 3. Now I want to show you that you could do that in your calculator very easily. So I've got my 1/4, 1 divided by 4, right? And I want to multiply it by a -2, and then we know we're going to have to subtract this 3, so -3, and there I get this answer. Well, a lot of times we don't like to mix decimals and fractions together, so use the math button and say change the answer to a fraction, and it gives me my -7/2. Pretty cool.